Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of my Gamedev adventure series. So, I'm working on this game where you play as a mosquito, and this week there was a lot of things that I wanted to do, but it really flew by. I feel like I didn't accomplish half of what I wanted to do. But I did focus on sound design. I wanted to add some more sounds to the game and make the world feel a little bit more like fleshed out and lived in. And I also worked on one big design thing, or maybe not big. It's more of a little thing, but I think it's really important. So I'll start with that. So when I start flying, last week I added a stamina system, and now when the stamina is expired, it starts consuming blood, and it's made more obvious because down at the bottom the blood bar is flashing while it's being consumed. So this is done just through an animation that starts looping once stamina is expired and blood is being consumed, and then it stops as soon as you're no longer pressing the input. Um, it honestly was a little bit more difficult to do that than I thought it would be, but now that I've figured out a little bit more how to trigger animations and stop animations based on game logic, it should be easier for me to do things like that in the future. Um, and then the other big thing, maybe you've heard it already. So I said I was working on sounds. One of the sounds that I did was just adding footsteps to the mosquito. Obviously, like, you're a little guy. It's not like you're going to be making big sounds. So I wanted the sounds to feel like very subtle, but I still want to have some sort of responsiveness to the fact that you're walking. And maybe this could also change depending on the surface that you're working on, that you're walking on. So if you're walking on something soft, then it wouldn't have such kind of a ting sort of sound. But I like the way that it kind of articulates a little bit of stickiness to your feet. It feels like your feet are sticking and unsticking a little bit, and it kind of reinforces one of the core game design elements that I have, which is the fact that you can walk on any surface. I also added a blood sucking sound, so when I engorge, you hear a little bit of slurp slurp. Those sounds were made by yours truly. Actually, the footstep sounds also were. I kind of just made a few like little popping sounds into the microphone and then played with them a little bit until they started to sound like something sort of like a very small impact on the ground. And the blood sucking sounds were literally me just like drinking water and making slurping sounds in front of the microphone. And then you might have also heard these big thudding footstep sounds. These ones I didn't make. I got them off of Freesound, but I thought that they were really good. They were made by hitting a cardboard box, apparently, and modifying that sound to the point that it felt like a big thudding impact. And I think it adds a lot, and it makes the world feel a lot more kind of dangerous, and it reinforces the fact that you're very small. I also added animations to the cat. So we've got this little cat guy over here, and you can see instead of just floating around, now he's finally walking. I've still got some issues when NPCs are running into each other. It looks a little bit janky, but I will sort that out eventually. I will make it so that the AI is actually querying its environment to make sure that it's not going to run into anything when it's moving somewhere. Um, yeah, this week I was spending a lot of time thinking about AI and AI perception because I want the creatures to be able to perceive the mosquito and change their behavior accordingly. I've made a lot of progress in that direction, but I just still don't have much to show for it. Oh yeah, this is... Are we flying now? Okay. Oh dear. Yeah, definitely need to have slightly smarter AI so that this doesn't happen as much. Yeah, so now the AI will at least perceive the mosquito. So if I go in front of this guy here, you'll see a message in the top left that should say something like target actor set. Yeah, so now this guy knows where I am. And then if I go out of his field of view, which currently is kind of from the center of his body, not from his head like it should be, then it sets the last known location. And so that will be kind of the basis for how humans and cats and other creatures are able to perceive. They will see you, and then when you go out of their range of vision, then you have the last known location. And yeah, that's what I've been doing. This week I'll be spending more time on the AI perception and trying to make it smarter. I will try to make it so that it's coming from the head. And also, I think because they're so massive and it's a little bit difficult to know like where exactly you are being perceived and where you aren't. I think it would be good to do kind of the retro game cone vision thing. So like actually have a cone of vision coming out of the character model so that it's very clear to the player where they would be inside somebody's vision and where they wouldn't. And then we could also like update that cone, maybe it turns from green to yellow to red or something to indicate whether you are in danger, whether somebody's mad at you, basically. So that's something that I'm going to be looking into. And then I also have been talking about making a blood sucking mini game for a while, but I've been avoiding it. And this week I'm going to stop avoiding it. I'm going to see if I can actually finally make that because I think I have an idea of how to do it in a pretty simple way. But we'll see if it works. I think that will add a lot to the game and make it feel like sucking blood is actually kind of a challenging and fun thing to do. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Looking forward to showing you more next week. And yeah, see you next time. Thanks.